Today on Chump Talk, we are joined by former Kitchener Ranger legend, former Philadelphia Flyer, and current forward in the DEL in Germany, playing for, we'll see if I can get this right, Kolner Hay. Kolner Hay, did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, you got it right.
Wow,
Jason
that doesn't
Akeson,
happen
thanks
very
for joining
often.
us.
Yeah. Nice. What's up, boys?
Thanks for coming on today, Jason. Got to congratulate you on your season in the Dell there. You led the league in points. Just huge congrats on that. And where are you now? Are you back in Ottawa, or what are you doing now?
Yeah, thanks. Back in Ottawa now, just hanging out, really working out, not doing too much. We were in lockdown for a bit, so now just training, and then probably head back to Germany sometime soon.
And you didn't mention you've been golfing too, because we tried to set this interview up a couple times and just got big timed, like 3 times in a row. Sorry, boys, got a 2-time. That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right.
You guys big timed me last time, so
Yeah.
I paid it forward, Been golfing quite a bit.
Yeah, so I was going to ask about the golf and how's that going? Is there a course close to your house? You've been out quite a bit since the weather's got nice here.
Yeah, I've been out quite a bit. The boys have been golfing pretty decent amount. So it's been pretty fun. We kind of play all over, but it's going pretty well.
What's the best round you've ever had?
73 was the best.
73, that'll do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
you just no, sorry. You just mentioned that you'd be going back to Germany at some point soon. Basically, how soon will that happen, and what does next season look like for you so far? Just looking at your elite prospects, there's just looking at where you might be playing next year. There's a doubtful for a Schwenninger team, and there's a rumor for Straubing. Are you going back to Kölner, or what does next season look like for you in Germany?
Right now, I don't know. I'm not going back to Cologne, so I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. And then I think, I don't know, just kind of wait and see what happens here. Probably figure out something in the next week. I wasn't in too much of a rush, so we'll just go from there, really.
So we're just around the KW area, and you played your junior hockey for the Kitchener Rangers 3.5 seasons, it looks like. So that's kind of where Matt and I would probably remember you most. And I just got off the phone with the former trainer of yours, Dan Liebold. Before we both know him. We might have lost him.
We'll see if we can get him.
Yeah.
Okay, there's long enough pause we can.
Yeah, that's okay. When we get him back in, I'll just start over the question about the Rangers.
Yeah. It sounded like he was having a party in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, we can maybe ask him to go to a little quieter room.
I think he's on his computer, though.
Oh. Holy, elite prospects won't stop taking me to this page, and then I have to go back, and it takes me all the way to Google.
He's back.
Okay. We're back.
What's up, boys? I don't know what happened there. I got booted.
No worries. I'll just start over my question about the Rangers, and then we'll get back into it. I'm actually going to save that Dan Liebold question for after, anyways.
Yeah, we'll just do like a 10-second pause here, and then we'll be good.
Okay.
Okay, so we like to take it back to the start of the hockey career for you guys, and where yours started junior. You played 3.5 years for the Kitchener Rangers, putting up great points. Your last season, 108 points in 67 games. A lot of our listeners are from the KW area, and a lot of people would remember you from those Ranger days. What is there a couple memories that stick out for you from the Kitchener Ranger days, and maybe just tell us how that all started too.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty crazy. I was playing junior A in my first year for the OHL draft. I never got drafted. So I told myself, fuck the OHL, basically, I did not want to go. And, I saw my friends get drafted. So it was hard for me. But then I made the junior A team as a 16-year-old and had a pretty good year there. And I remember the next year I had some talks with some Q teams in Gatineau. I was going to go play there, and I also had quite a few scholarship offers, and then Kitchener ended up drafting me. So then, I told them I wasn't going to go. I said no chance, and then halfway through the year, I think I was doing pretty well. I had like 2 points a game or close to it, and they gave me a call and they're like, "Hey, do you want to come down? We're hosting the Mem Cup." So I did, and it was crazy. It was a crazy experience. I mean, like that Kitchener was unbelievable. I mean, I remember I went to a development camp that year, and I didn't show up to training camp because I knew if I went there, I'd want to stay because it was so cool, And
Right.
you're a 17-year-old kid, and there's 10,000 fans every night. Like it's a pretty cool thing.
So you just had a major grudge against the OHL,
I did until I went, and then I
Yeah.
loved it.
And then you torched the league.
Yeah,
Playing with the chip
it
on
was
his
fun,
shoulder.
man. I loved the OHL. It was, yeah,
This
I have to,
the first year you played 13 games, but I just want to name some of the players from that team. My page kind of went down here, but Kadri was on there. Nick Spalling, former guest of the show here. Matt House, Chuck, Yannick Weber, Mike Duco, Scott Timmons, Bodker. I don't know if I said him. That's like there's some pretty elite names in there. So was it intimidating walking into that dressing room when you did?
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. Like I was just a young kid, and from Ottawa, but from the suburbs. So not really traveled or anything like that, and going into this room where these guys are pretty well known, and it was pretty intimidating. But at the end of the day, I remember like I was getting healthy scratch, but we had like 4 lines healthy scratch at that time. We had
Yeah.
so many players, and then I finally got in and never looked back.
When you came in for the end of that season there, did you kind of plan on like returning to the OHL or that year, or you just kind of going there to try and get that Mem Cup win and then kind of see what happened after that? Or did you kind of plan on being a Kitchener Ranger for the next few years kind of a thing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and especially once you go to the OHL, you get no more scholarships. So
Right.
it was a commitment that I decided, and I was like, all right, well, if we're gonna do it, let's do it, and make sure you do it right. So going to Kitchener's top class organization, and everything about it was awesome, and hosting the Mem Cup was an added bonus. That was a real cool experience, and it was my first year, and I only played half a year, so the next 4 years felt long when you didn't get there.
I got one thing here. We're kind of on a personal level with Dan Liebold, a trainer of yours when you were with the Rangers, and
Yeah.
we called him before this just to ask him if he had any dirt on you or any stories. He just said it was crazy how you came in as just so quiet, and then by the end outgoing, and then at the end of the phone call he just mentioned that when that year you're putting up 108 points in the OHL, there were a lot of nights you're maybe more concerned about that hair. And just looking good on the blue line with the big flow. And I actually, that was like a trademark of yours. I remember that, just the curly big hair puffing out the back of the helmet there.
Oh yeah, it was pretty long. And Danny, what a beauty. He's still there. What a guy.
Yeah, what do you remember about Dan Liebold? Because we asked
Oh
all the ex-Rangers.
yeah, he's the best, man. Just one-stop shop. He knew how to tape up your ankle and give you a new stick. He was the best, and that guy's just he's a great human. Just loves Kitchener, loves the Rangers, loves everyone everyone that goes through there. That guy's top class, and I'll never forget that guy.
Yeah, we actually used to go to a bunch of the Kitchener Ranger games through Dan's season tickets. We were good buddies. We're good buddies with his son, so we'd always go with the family and everyone watch the boys. But I just remember being there on Friday nights as a young guy, and this is kind of weird one, but when I was younger, I really remember the name Cody Soul for some reason. Just this giant guy out there constantly, constantly fighting. Just what can you tell us about Cody Soul? Like, what kind of a guy was he off the ice and just as a teammate in general?
People's faces.
Oh, I just remember him kicking the shit out of people.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's a big human. I remember that. Yeah. He was I think he got traded to us from Saginaw, maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, he's a big dude, man. Just a big goofy guy. Like just likes to goof around, tell jokes. Off the ice, he's very soft guy. But he's a big lad, that's for sure.
As far as other names go that you played with in your Ranger time, who sticks out as just like funniest off the ice guys just in any of your years there? Is there a couple people that just come to mind right away?
Funniest, I don't know. Like I've played with quite a few guys. Jerry D'Amigo is one of my good buddies, and he was always pretty funny, good for a good laugh. And I don't know, there was quite a few. Matt Tipoff was there. He was an overager with me, so we had some fun times and we had some good laughs. And yeah, there's been quite a few guys that have run through there. You know, Skinner, Landeskog, all those guys have been there when I was there. So it's pretty crazy to see some of these names that I used to play with.
And your overage year there, when you put up 108 points, what was it like coming to the rink every day? And especially just as an overage guy, like thinking about what the next step in hockey would be for you there.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I knew I wanted to put myself in a position where, you know, I could pick a team to go to. And, you know, at the start of the year, I remember I was getting letters from, you know, CIS colleges. And I remember that my coach at the time, Steve Spock, came in. He's like, yeah, you should probably consider this. And I said, this? I threw it in the garbage.
Oh, no way.
I was like, man, I'm not here to go to school.
Oh,
yeah. So
what did Steve Swat say to that?
I can't remember what he said. I don't know. I think I walked out of the room after, but I think he laughed afterwards. But yeah, it was crazy. I mean, especially you know, the start of the year, I was you know, doing pretty well, and I got off to a hot start, if I remember correctly, and then a couple teams started knocking, and then you know, it was fun for me, you know, because every time I went to the rink, if I wasn't putting up 2-3 points, I was pissed at my game, you know.
Yeah.
So you know, and we were good too. So you know, I was expecting to win it that year, and you know, we didn't, but you know, we had a really good team, and it was fun.
Looking back at your career at the Kitchener Rangers now, just what kind of things do you remember most? Just any stories or memories that stick out, or just what do you take away most from those 3.5 years there with Kitchener?
I think the number one thing was the fans. I mean, you know, getting to play in front of that many fans as a kid, you feel like a rock star. You know, you really did. You know, any time you went out in the city, you know, chances are somebody might know who you were, and you know, that was really cool. And you know, fans cheering, and you know, the Memorial Cup was nuts. I remember they had like 2 lines of standing room around the glass, and you know, people just jammed in there, police escorts, like that was fun stuff. And you know, looking back at it, just the memories and the way we were treated. And you know, I went from there and I went to Adirondack in the pro, and I think we had in the AHL, I think we had like 200 fans my first game.
That's great.
So I was like, whoa, what is going on here?
What high school would have you gone to in Kitchener?
Oh man, I don't know. It was an artsy school. I only went for half a semester.
I was gonna say, I'm sure not too much was getting done in class for you.
No, man, they loved us there. We were in the Mem Cup too, so like it was like, I remember we were in one class, and the teacher, I think it was like a cooking class or something crazy like that, but like kind of like cooking biology or something. And she's an old sweet lady, and there's 2 of us in the class, and she walks up to us. She goes, don't worry, I know you guys have a game tomorrow, so you don't need to do the homework.
No way.
All right.
That's me. You're like, see ya.
I was like, the OHL's awesome.
Yeah. I was curious too. What were you guys doing off the ice in your time with the Rangers? Because we talked to a lot of OHL guys now, and it's basically just like Fortnite and Call of Duty. What were you guys running around Kitchener doing on off days?
Not much. No, we got into our fair enough trouble, you know, just like any teenager would. You know, we got caught a few times, and you know, it taught us a few lessons, which was fun. But the guys, my first year there actually was big Halo. Halo was big.
Halo.
Yeah, we had private matches of Halo.
There's got to be one off the ice story that you can share that sticks out of you guys getting in some trouble. Anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah, I mean, I remember. Okay, I'll tell you one, but
yeah, let's go.
It's just because it worked out. That's why I'll tell you. So, our one guy came down. It was actually our 2nd year or 3rd year. I don't know. I was playing with Jeremy Moore, and We were up 3-1, I think, and then in the series in the playoffs, and we ended up, or we were down. I don't know what it was. We were going into Game 7,
Yeah.
and his buddy came in, which was Jerry D'Amigo, because he wanted to come the next year. So he wanted to go out and party, and I think we lost 2 games in a row. So like we were pissed.
Yeah.
Going into Game 7, and I remember someone came up to us and he said, "You gotta switch it up, man." And so we did. We went out and partied till 3-4 in the morning, and we had Game 7 the next day. And I think I went out there and I got 4 points, and Jared McMorrin got a hat trick, and we won like 7-2 or something.
Unreal.
Wow. It played off, eh?
Playing scared.
Yeah, I had to switch it up a bit.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
So after your overage year in Kitchener, you moved on to the Philadelphia Flyers organization. Just what did that process look like moving over there? And were you looking at other teams as well, or how did that all pan out for you?
Yeah, that was a pretty crazy time for me. It was real exciting. I had, teams offering all over, and I think at the time I was leading the league by like 20 points or something like that. So, I had my fair share, and basically I wanted to see where I would fit best. And, my family and my agent, we all talked about it, and we thought that Philly was the best fit. They didn't have many prospects from some trades that they went through. So, I just wanted to be in a position where maybe I could get the best shot.
That year you split between the ECHL, AHL, and then one game in the NHL. Did you start that season in the ECHL in the Coast, or were you in the AHL?
Yeah, in the Coast. That was the lockout year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
So that they only played like 42 NHL games that year, or what was it?
Yeah, so we had AHL camp, which was normal, but the NHL was locked out.
Oh, but all the NHLers were down at the AHL.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Gotcha.
So we had like Shen Couturier, all those guys down, and
jeez,
they said they're just like, yeah, we want to send you to the Coast and get you some time. And I was pissed because I just led the AHL as a rookie, scoring for the team the year before. So I was like, yeah, I wasn't good, but I was mad.
Yeah. And then so your second year pro, 2012, 2013, that's the year I was just talking about. And then one game with the Philadelphia Flyers, second shift of the game, you're on a line with Claude Giroux, I'm not sure who else, and you bat a puck out of the air, put it in front of the net. Claude Giroux kind of pokes at it, comes back to you. You beat Craig Anderson with Eric Carlson and Mark Mathot in front of the net. You beat Craig Anderson over the shoulder, kind of bar down for your first NHL goal, first game, second shift. What was that feeling like? And in your hometown, Ottawa, right?
Yeah, it was my hometown. It was pretty crazy. I mean, after the game, I told my buddies I knew I had to score early because I knew not many of them were going to make it to the end of the game. But
I'm sure they didn't after you scored then.
No. It was pretty messy after the game, I'll tell you that much.
So were you on the line with Claude Giroux? Who else was on that line?
Yeah, it was me, Giroux, and Voracek.
That's all right.
Yeah, I wasn't mad about it. It was a pretty cool experience for me. Hometown. I was from Ottawa. All my family was there. I remember my first shift, I lined up against Alfredson, and I used to skate with him in the summers before. But he gave me a shin tap. He said good luck and stuff. And after the game, you're sitting there and you're like, well, what just happened?
Yeah.
It was really cool. But that whole experience was pretty awesome, especially starting in the East Coast and then ending up the year in the NHL. That was fun.
And I know sorry, Poolsy. I know you're pretty close with Claude Giroux. Did you know him before going into the Flyers organization then?
Yeah, I did for sure. We've known each other since he was 13, I think, when he came to Ottawa. So, yeah, I've known him for quite a bit, but I wouldn't say that I really necessarily had an influence on where I wanted to go, but it was a nice bonus.
And did he grind your gears at all before that first game, or was he kind of staying positive with you?
He was pretty good. I like the Philly was out of it, so I'm pretty sure everyone on the ice was quite hungover that day. So it was pretty good, and the boys. It was the last game of the season, so after that, it was pretty fun to celebrate.
That's awesome.
Throughout your AHL career there, you played 406 games, racked up 333 points. And unfortunately, there was only 15 games in NHL, though. Just why do you think that was? Because in the AHL there, you had so much success, and you looked like such a promising prospect that would be a regular in an NHL lineup one day. Just Just what do you think about that, and just spending so much time in the HL without really getting that NHL opportunity?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think a lot of players go through it, and nowadays you see like even last year, I remember my dad called me and said, "Why don't you try and go back?" And I'm like, "Well, it's not that easy, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's all about opportunity." And I got a bit of opportunity, and even when I went in and played in the playoffs, like I pushed out a few guys that probably shouldn't have been pushed out, like, and so they were probably upset too. And I had a chance, and then the next year, I don't know, I was feeling great. I had a great training camp, and then I was playing like 3 minutes a game. And a player like me, it's hard to stay in the game and show what I can with that amount of time. And I don't know. It's just sometimes you just got to get lucky and find the right fit.
And here's something you can always hang your hat on if you never get back. I wonder if you're one of the only people in NHL history to have more goals in the postseason than the regular season in their NHL career. You have 2 goals,
Yeah.
2 goals in 7 games in that series with the Flyers. I think it was against the Rangers, right?
Yeah, against the Rangers. Yeah.
So talk about that series. I know when Game 7, kind of heartbreaking finish too, but you were buzzing around out there with 3 points in 7 games.
Yeah, that was a pretty crazy few weeks for me. I remember I got called up last game of the season, and that was my first game in the NHL like that year.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just they were wanting to rest some guys. So, I came up and, I was playing. So I played, I didn't really care. I was just playing to have fun, show what I got. And I guess it was good enough because the next day I came into the rink and they had the lineup posted. And I was like, wow, that's probably from last game.
Yeah.
I'm not in the play. Like I just played the last game of the season,
Yeah.
And like I walked into the room, I'm getting dressed. I walked back out. It's still the same lineup. So like, I forget who I was with. I looked at someone like, what lineup is this for? They're like, the playoffs. And I'm like, I'm in the lineup? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay.
The game's in like 2 hours?
Yeah, I'm like, all right. Well, yeah, we had like a week. So then, we were doing preparation for it and video and everything like that. But like, it was a whirlwind because I thought I was just up there for the last game, And then it turns out that I was playing, and yeah.
Was Craig Berube the coach at that point?
Yeah, so, Craig is the coach. Yeah.
Did he sit down with you at all before that playoff series? He was like, all right, here's what I need you to do, or were you just going into that?
Really?
No. Yeah, just play. Like I remember asked G, like I was like, yo, what's going on here? Am I playing or like what? He goes like, yeah. Like act like you care. And I'm like, well, I care. I thought it was from last game.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I think what was it, game 1 maybe? Game 1 where I took a double minor. Oh man, that was bad.
Yeah.
That was so bad. I got back on the train. Oh, I got back on the train and like Barstool made like a website about how Philly fans wanted to kill me. And
oh my gosh.
I had like 5,000 notifications on my phone. My phone just shut off. I was just like, oh, it was bad.
I was gonna say Flyers fans are really forgiving about stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
No. Oh no, I was getting death threats. It was crazy.
Oh, shit. I was just thinking with Claude Giroux to say like, yeah, act like you've been here. Like you're like, I've played 2 NHL games and we're going into the play.
Yeah.
What do you mean act like I've been here?
Yeah, in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Just talk a little bit about that Philly playoff atmosphere, because every time you see them on TV in the playoffs, they always seem to have one of the best atmospheres through any NHL team in the league. Just what was it like to play in Philadelphia in the playoffs? Because it just looks insane.
Oh, it was amazing, man. Like the Philly fans are next level. Like they were awesome. I remember one game, might have been game 4 in the playoffs that year, and it was like a TV timeout, and like we look up into the 300s, and there's like a full blown 20-on-20 brawl with these guys in Rangers jerseys, and they're just teeing off, and then the ref blows a whistle, we start playing like nothing happened.
That's amazing.
Yeah, those fans are awesome though. It was so much fun to play in front of them.
That just made me think about, I don't know if either of you seen this video, the Phoenix Suns games the other night that the 2 fans got out and the guy just beat the shit out of the Denver Nuggets. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Make sure you go watch that video. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I was curious about that series though, because I know Philly had lots of tough guys. And I think the Rangers did too. Was that a pretty rough physical series, those 7 games?
Yeah, it was pretty rough. I remember I remember one time I was at the front of the net and Marty St. Louis punched me as hard as he could right in the face. And then I got up and I was like, Marty St. Louis just punched me in the face.
You're like, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That is sweet.
And I was playing on a line with like Vinny LeCavalier, which was awesome. He was a great guy. And
Oh,
Man.
it was just all like surreal to me,
Yeah.
Wow.
I totally
forgot.
Vinny Lecavalier. He finished his career there, right?
Yeah. He's a great guy. One of the best.
What is he like? What is he like in the room?
He's great. He's not that loud, but he's just he's a confident guy, good looking dude, man rocket.
Yeah. He just
living.
seems like one of those guys you see just like rock star status, like just
Oh yeah. I remember one time we had like it was like a morning skate or something, and he came in, he's wearing like a parka, and it was like it was only like 10 degrees out, and he's like, man, this Philly weather, he goes, it's not the same as Tampa, my back hurts, everything's sore, it's too cold.
Man. Any memories or stories from those Philly teammates? Because obviously there was a great deal of unreal players and just good character players in that team too. Just any good stories, either off the ice or at the rink or anything like that?
Yeah, I got a few, but I don't know how many are PG. But no, like they're all those guys were such good guys, and I think it was sad that we didn't have success that year, because I think that year it would have been great. I mean, everyone on that team was friends, and Giroux does a really good job keeping all the guys close, and that year I think we had like Voracek, Shen, Emery was there, Hartnell, like all those guys were such great leaders, and the fact that I got to play with some of them and learn a bit of their ways I feel lucky for it.
Were there any dinners right away when you get called up any year where there's a pretty big bill and you're like, oh, is someone gonna take this for me, or how's this?
Oh man, I remember one time we went to, it was a steakhouse in Philly. I forget what it's called, but it was huge steakhouse, and like the boys are ordering bottles of wine and then the shots come out and everyone's having steaks, and like the bill's probably up to like 20 grand at this point. Like there was like 8 of us, and I remember like the boys are like, credit card game, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, okay. So then like they're passing around, and I was sitting beside Voracek, and I go to put my card in there, and he looks at me and he goes, what are you thinking? And I'm like, thank God. I don't even know if I have 20 grand in my account.
Imagine that.
That would have been
insufficient funds.
Oh man, I instantly start sweating. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, you got Voracek on one side, Claude Giroux on the other, and
I ordered like this. I ordered like the strip loin steak that was $40. The boys were ordering like the $700 Wagyu steaks,
and everyone's getting a bottle of wine. You're just like, I'll take a glass of water, please.
Yeah.
In 2016, 2017, you made that move over to Europe. Just kind of talk about what went into that decision to make that move.
At that time, I think I went to Russia, and I think it was more of a money thing at that point. Like I wasn't getting any deals really, and my agent wanted me to go there and get some money and then come back, and I don't know, it was just all a mess. And when I went there, that was probably the craziest thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
Go across the world to Russia, and I was like, if I went to Moscow or something, probably would have been all right. But I was in Vladivostok, and that's like an hour drive from North Korea. So every flight we took was 14 hours with traveling over like 10 time zones. It was pretty nuts.
That's insane. Yeah, like everyone, actually, like Spit and Chicklets does a really good job of getting stories out of guys, and you hear lots of like everyone has a different experience from the KHL. Like some people love it, and some people just want to get out of there right away. Was yours somewhere in the middle, or was it closer to one of those two?
Yeah, at first I was like, I didn't know what was going on, and I was just like, all right. And then, they did. Some of the Russian guys don't really give a shit about you, I remember I was talking to one guy, English, full conversation. Then 2 other Russians walked in the room, and I asked him something else, and he looked at me and he goes, no English. I was like, what?
The same guy that was speak
English.
No,
I was like, I was just talking to you, man. So you're kind of on an island there, and it was different. Like you had to like sign to like get a roll of tape, and they would take it out of your contract, and
Wow.
The trainer wouldn't sharpen your skates if he didn't like you. It was pretty
Oh
crazy.
my gosh. Did you have any issues getting all your money or anything? Or it
Oh
was good?
yeah,
Yeah.
it took like a year and a half.
Holy
No
shit.
way.
Yeah, and
Eh,
like that was just a buyout because after 3 months, I was like, screw it, I'm out of here, man. Like I'm
Yeah.
going back. Like I don't care about the money anymore. Like just get me out of here.
And then in a
And it
year
was
and a
like
half.
a yeah, and then they put it in a bank out there, which is like dangerous because banks there fold all the time.
Right.
So like if the bank folds, your money's gone. So I had to sign over like a power of attorney of my bank account to like some Russian lady. I
What?
thought my money. I thought I wasn't gonna get my money,
You thought
and
you
then
just
like
spent 17 games in the KHL for free.
yeah, and like man, it was such a crazy experience. Like I remember like my last game there. Like I told my agent, I'm like, just get me out of here, man. Like I don't want to be here anymore. Like they
Yeah.
were trying to bag skate me. And, like I showed up there and I was playing like fourth line, and then I was playing like net front on the second power play unit. And I looked around, I'm like, have you guys ever seen me play before? Like
Yeah.
No way.
I don't know what you guys want from me. You're paying me a lot of money here, but like I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
And I remember it was my last game before I left. And like I already told my agent I wanted out and stuff, and they were like, no, they want to keep you and stuff. So I was like, okay. So we were in Latvia, Riga, and we weren't even playing at Riga's rink because they had a concert. So we were playing at like some junior rink that was like half the size of
Yeah.
any normal rink. There was maybe 1,000 fans. The roof was like 20 feet high. Like it was crazy. And so after pregame skate, I sat down after video, and like I sat in one chair, and then they had like GM, all three coaches, and then like the owner or an agent or something like that was sitting there. And like the coach is Belarusian, and he just starts looking at me laughing. But I'm like, what? And he starts talking Russian. I'm like, what the fuck is he saying? Like somebody tell me what he's
No
saying.
way.
So that like the translator's like, well, he's saying you have to score. And I'm like, what? He
Yeah.
goes, well, we're gonna put you on the top line today, and if you don't score, you're gone. We're gonna make you
What?
quit. And I was just like, all right, like
Did you
okay,
even want to
Jeez.
score?
yeah. I was just like, all right,
Yeah.
sure, like whatever. So I remember I went out like my first shift, I like hit the crossbar, and then like I was playing really well. I remember I felt well.
Yeah.
Second period, I hit 2 posts like crazy, like 3 posts in one game. And then third period, I came out, not one shift.
What?
No way.
So I was sitting on the bench like this, just like, oh man, I'm gonna get killed. I'm gonna get killed. Someone's gonna
Yeah.
kill me.
Oh
No
I'm
my
not
way.
gonna make it
goodness.
home.
3
Wow.
posts and you're just done. And then so
Yeah.
they released you, or you're like, I'm out of here. Both
No,
probably.
then I was just then I told my agent like because like they wanted me to quit. So like after that they like brought me to the rink. They were like bag skating me for like 3 hours. And like I
What?
remember I looked at the guy and I was like, listen, man, you guys owe me like 700 grand. I'm not going nowhere. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you can work me to the
Man.
bone if you want. And then after I got into a run with him, and like I wasn't a dick about it really. Like I
No.
wasn't yelling at them. I was just like, all right, well, I know what you're doing, but I'm not gonna quit.
Man.
And yeah, so then we came up with an agreement to get the money out.
So you got your money and got out of there. Well, you didn't get
Yeah,
your
well, I
money.
didn't get my money. I
Yeah.
just got an agreement for it.
Right.
Jeez.
Oh,
Yeah.
That is
But at
absolutely
that point,
crazy.
I wasn't mentally well, like I was
yeah.
15-hour time change from like back home, so I wouldn't talk to anybody. I had two imports on my team, and they both had families, so like I would only talk to them at the rink. And then like for where I was, it's crazy where I was staying. So like when I showed up there, like this guy, like they told me this Igor guy would pick me up,
Oh,
and then
geez.
he was gonna drop me
Igor.
off to another Igor. So I was like, all right. So this guy picks me up. I like get in the cab or van or whatever it is. He's like, okay, let's go. We take you to this place. It's like a university that's there in Vladivostok. So I'm like, all right. So then he drops me off at the rink. I'm like, this isn't a rink.
Yeah.
This isn't a hotel or anything. So then the translator comes out and he's like, hey, so we're gonna like put you up in this place out like by down the road a bit. Down the road a bit was like 45 minutes. So I go to this place, we get there, pull up, there's cops there with AK-47.
Oh
I
my
don't know if they were
God.
cops or whatever. They make you get out of the car, and they search your bags, everything. So like I get in there, like I have no Wi-Fi, so I'm just sitting in this room like not sure what to do.
Yeah.
Man.
And then like, like a couple of weeks go by, but every time I went back to the like, you'd have to call a taxi. So
Yeah.
like I would stand outside for an hour trying to call a taxi, like,
Oh my gosh.
and every time I'd have to, like, coming home from the rink, I'd grab like 2 beers so I can have them in my room, but
Yeah.
I'd have to stuff them in like my jacket pocket inside my
What?
pocket because
They
the
didn't want
cops
you
would
to,
search you.
and they didn't
You
want
weren't
you to
allowed to
have.
bring alcohol. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
it's
was it this?
crazy.
Was it Igor times two picking you up every time?
Yeah. And you would try to like find like a cab driver that would like really like you. So like
Yeah.
I found this one cab driver, and he started picking me up like every morning, and
Yeah.
you give him a little bit of extra money and they'll be there.
Yeah.
And then this guy started sending me like weird messages, man, like, I love you, bro, like,
Oh
and
jeez.
like sending me
What?
like pictures of like me on Facebook and like YouTube clips of me and stuff. I was like, all right, and that's enough of that.
I I got to get out of Russia. That's what you're saying.
Oh
Wow.
yeah, it was wild over there, man. Like, have you
Man,
ever heard this story, Mike Commodore's story about it?
I've heard bits and pieces of it, but
Yeah,
it's
that was in Vladivostok, and
that's the
it's the
same.
That's where
Wild
you were.
West. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
Really?
yeah. That's where I was. It was crazy. Every time we flew, it was like 14-hour flights. If we took like a charter, it would be like a 6-hour flight. Then you like stop, refuel for 3 hours on the tarmac, and then another 5 hours.
Were there any North Americans on your team that were helping you out at all?
When I was there was Jonathan Blum was there, and this guy named James Wright. But they
Okay.
both had kids, so I mean,
Yeah.
we were kind of on our own. But
Yeah.
James Wisniewski showed up actually like halfway through.
No way.
Nice.
Yeah, and I ended up finding a house somehow. I don't even know how I did it, but
Yeah.
through some guys, and Wisniewski lived with me for a bit, so that was pretty fun.
So how many months were you over there total?
I was there September, and I think I got back like Christmas time ish.
Okay.
Man.
Yeah.
What
That's
a
awesome.
wild 4 months that would have been.
Oh man, it was crazy. Like, everything about it was just like not what I expected. Like,
Yeah.
on game days, we'd have to go to the rink at 7:30 a.m. and then the whole team would go to like a hotel, but it was more like a jail. Like, it was one room with a
Yeah.
bed and then like a toilet. And
I've
then
heard
you'd
of
have
it.
to, yeah, you do your pregame nap there, and then you go back to the rink with the team.
Oh,
Some
my
What?
teams
gosh.
are even crazier. Like, some teams make you go the day before.
Yeah, that's like I think I heard a story about the night before you have to stay in your room and these guys have
Yeah,
families and you're just there.
yeah, and like
That's
you
Oh,
so
can't.
weird.
And
what
it's
a-
Russia, you can't really do much about it. You're just like, all right, well,
is
let's go.
the legend of Russian gas? Is there any experiences? Is that a real thing for you?
I had a crazy one time.
Really?
I hurt my shoulder. It was like game like 3 or 4, and I hurt my shoulder, and I was trying to talk to the doctor, but like he just like wouldn't give me any time of day. So then I went to Anton Volchenkov, because he spoke English, and I was like,
Yeah.
hey man, I'm like, can you tell this guy like I hurt my shoulder, like, something's wrong with it. I don't know what's wrong with it. Like, and so like they start talking Russian. So I'm just standing there like in a towel, and like he starts like feeling my shoulder, and like they're talking Russian for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Then they like turn away from me, and they're still talking Russian. So like I'm just sitting there, not sure what to do. And then the guy starts yelling at me. He's like, "Davai, davai." I'm like,
What?
okay. So I start walking away, and then Volchenkov's like, no, like, come here. So I like come back, and the guy like turns me around, lifts up my towel, and like fucking hammers me with a needle like this long in my ass.
Oh my god.
What?
And I freaked out. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck you doing? Like, I fucking pushed the guy. I'm like, you can't do that. Like,
Oh
you just
my-
stick me with a fucking needle, man.
No way.
Yeah, and
That is
I was
nuts.
losing. I was toe to toe. Like, I was face to face with this guy, like ready to just like fight this guy.
Oh
And
my.
then
What?
Volchenkov steps in, and like it ended up being like Voltaren, which is like a anti-inflammatory. But I had no
Still,
clue.
yeah.
Like, it was right around the time where like I was like ready to leave, So I was like, oh, they're drugging me, and they're gonna drug test me, and I'm done.
Oh.
Oh. Man.
That's
It
insane.
was
I don't even know
intense.
where to go from that. That is
Yeah,
some,
or like going back now, would you change anything about that year? Or is that just something that
uh,
you're happy you survived and now it's just a legendary story?
yeah,
yeah. Like now, like when I look back at it now, I'm happy I did it just because it was so crazy,
Yeah.
you know. And it's a life experience, and like I get to tell these stories forever about how
yeah.
nuts it was. It was crazy, but
And you got your money.
yeah,
Yeah.
eventually, yeah.
It
Yeah,
looks
it
like
was
you've
fun.
found a home in Germany here over the past 3 seasons. That's where you've been playing the last 3 seasons. Just what
Mm.
brought you over there, and what keeps you coming back every year?
I think just the lifestyle, it's fun over there. It's pretty relaxed. The living, anyways. It's European lifestyle, which is really fun. It's a little bit slower pace. People go for their coffees and relax. And the league is nice. The league reminds me of what the AHL used to be when I first came to the league. So I enjoy that. Not much travel. It's good. The money's decent. It's better than what you'd get in the AHL unless you're one of the top guys. So it's more about lifestyle for me now. And
Yeah.
my wife is pregnant now, so life's
Saw that.
changed a bit.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
So she's lived with you over there for the last 3 years then?
Yeah, last 3 years she came over.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Like that was insane.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
still like, I cannot believe that goes on. Like,
Yeah.
Oh man, it was so nuts. Like
Yeah.
some of the stuff, like I
It
couldn't
must,
believe it.
it must be so fun with some of your boys to just sit down, have a few drinks, and them ask you questions, and you just tell them
Yeah.
about it.
Honestly though, like it took me like a solid 2 years. I was messed up from it. Like I would
Yeah.
stay up till like 4 a.m. just to talk English to somebody because
Oh,
no one would talk to me. Like I'd go to the rink and
really?
was
sit there in my stall and be like,
was your wife your girlfriend at the time at that point?
no, but we ended up talking again because she actually went to Australia. So she was
Okay.
like on the same time zone. So that's when we like kind of started talking again.
You're like, I just need to
So we were
talk to
like,
somebody.
yeah, I was like, can you please talk to me? Like,
Yeah.
since she
pretty,
was the only
pretty
one that was
please.
close to me. Yeah. Like I would stay up till like 4 a.m, like just to like say hello to somebody, catching them when they're waking up.
Seriously.
It was
Oh,
crazy.
that's insane. Well,
Yeah.
man, I feel like we could keep going for a while, but we should let you go. We've had fun. Maybe we can do this again sometime. It'd be sweet
Yeah.
to if we can get our times in place here. It'd be sweet to do this again when you're in Germany at some point.
Yeah, for sure. No problem, boys. Got a
And
couple more stories up my sleeve.
yeah, we'll,
Yeah.
we'll do this again. And
Yeah, absolutely.
Danny Liebold
Yeah.
texted and said to say hi, by the way. So
Yeah, tell Danny I say hi and that I miss him.
we'll do. We'll do. All right, Jason. Thanks for doing this.
All right, see you boys.
Yep.
Yeah.
See it.